Our first visitor this evening for you to consider is candidate Joe Shea. Joe Shea is the current commissioner in Norfolk County. Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you. And good evening, everyone. And thanks to Alicia and Mike Berry for organizing tonight's forum. It's great to be here with fellow Democrats. I think a lot of you know me from our work together throughout my years in Quincy and Norfolk County politics. But those of you who don't know me, I'm Joe Shea, a lifelong resident of Quincy, Josephine's husband, and the proud dad of Amy, Joseph, and Catherine. And I might add that Josephine and Catherine both are members of the committee. I served for 25 years as the Quincy City Clerk, and I've been a member of the Quincy Democratic Committee, I don't want to say this too loud, since 1968. And I am running for re-election as Norfolk County Commissioner. I do remember how excited I was in 1970 when I was elected a delegate from Ward 4 to go to UMass to the state Democratic Convention. And at that time, in order to get to the convention, you had to be pledged to one candidate or another. And at that time, I was actively working for Morris Donahue. He did not receive the Democratic nomination, but it was a great initial experience for me. And I remember how excited I was. We went on to support Kevin White in the final election in November, but that was the beginning of a long road for me. As your county commissioner for the past 5 years, I've been leading an effort to modernize Norfolk County government into a more cost-effective, inclusive, and transparent regional entity that provides a real value to Norfolk County residents and all of its citizens. The Norfolk County government of 2020 is no longer the county government of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. As we will face new challenges, and it's clear that our county government must continue to adapt and respond. My long career in Quincy focused on working to connect neighborhoods with government and to reform government practices at every step of the way. Whether it was managing the Quincy federal census, implementing a dynamic kids voting program in the late 90s, or creating the first bilingual Chinese American ballot in 2012, which was a result of the federal census numbers from 2010. I brought the same principles that I used in the city of Quincy to Norfolk County. As your county commissioner, I've been leading the change to reform the county budgeting and financial processes to reflect modern best practices, and the budget portal has been created on our website with all county budget information, documents, and work is being done to make our meetings more accessible using Zoom and YouTube technologies. Prioritizing capital investments in Norfolk County buildings and infrastructure has been a main focus of our activity. We're implementing a solar program at Norfolk County Aggie, and it's something that after 3 years of continual meetings and talking to experts and meeting with the community, I was happy and I do strongly support. The upkeep and maintenance of all of our key county buildings, the investments we've made in our registry of deeds and our administrative office, and it's provided better service for all who use our facilities in Norfolk County. And we'll be continuing our efforts with the Massachusetts SBA, School Building Authority, to bring the Aggie buildings up to the 21st century. As many of you know, the downtown area in the county seat in Dedham is very historic, and when you visit those courthouses, which have been in use a long, long time, particularly the Superior Court building, you'll see how beautiful they are and so hard they're dedicated. I don't know if people know this, but a lot of the movies that people have seen over the past 20 years, particularly The Verdict was used, our courthouse, a couple of other buildings, a couple of other recent movies, they always come to Norfolk County, and depending on how it's laid out and how it's worked, they love to use that courthouse for movies that are shown all over the country. We have a tremendous opportunity in Norfolk County to to continue promoting regional services between our cities and towns. 2 years ago, we helped lead a public health grant, which was a nurse, to be shared between the towns of Randolph, Avon, and Holbrook. Now, as the COVID-19 pandemic has come, it's proved to be a great move. We plan on continuing these efforts to serve these communities. In short, we have something special in Norfolk County. There are challenges to address, but as a government organization, the Aggie School and the county resources will continue to make a difference. I've dedicated my life to making a difference in public service. I love the people, I believe in good government, and I'm excited to be here tonight and focus on some of the great things that are being done for our community and residents. I will talk a little further later in my closing about various endorsements and things I've received this year in traveling around. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, our first question goes to Danielle Kemp, who I will find and unmute right now.
Hello, unmute worked.
Hello.
So I appreciate all the work you've done the past few years as our county commissioner. I have to be honest, I was researching what the role does earlier today because I consider myself a local politics nerd, but I didn't know. And in doing that, I had to access some of the minutes, and I also ended up clicking on your ADA compliance page. And both of those pages are actually inaccessible. They're both photos of text, and the ADA compliance only has a phone number, not any email, so that leaves deaf people out. You said you want to continue accessibility for Norfolk County in the commissioner's seat. Is there anything you would do to remedy that or help people with disabilities feel they're included in Norfolk County?
Well, of course, we're going to include people with disabilities. And I did hear at 4:30 today, Danielle, that you inquired from Director Mike Mullen about our website. And I have observed your work in the past at Quincy City Council meetings and through your candidacy last year for the City Council. So I believe, and I hope that Mike reached out to you late today.
He did.
I think it will be a matter for a future agenda, but many of our practices have been updated, and we're always looking to make some changes. The COVID-19 has allowed us, unfortunately, it's a hard way to learn, but you know, we're still doing all our meetings off-site, and we get better every week, and in a lot of our outreach programs, because for years we met like most government bodies weekly, and we met, you know, at the courthouse and at our county building. And so I've noticed quite an improvement in the 5 years I've been there, but we can do better, and I'll be happy to work with you.
Sounds great. Thank you, Joe. And I do appreciate the response. I just want to give you a chance too.
Okay.
So. Thanks.
Thank you, Danielle. Our next question is actually going to be asked by our friend Kathy Tuffy, who is the chair of the Braintree Democratic Town Committee. So I'll unmute her now.
Thank you. And thank you for hosting this event. I used to teach 8th grade math at South Middle School. I taught there for many years, and a big thing for many of our students was applying to Norfolk Aggie and Blue Hills Regional. Those schools provide hands-on education and learning about trades that are essential, and also are really very fitting placement for some children who enjoy that and want to pursue that rather than maybe going on into a college course at high school. I am concerned about how COVID-19 is affecting these hands-on programs, and I know that the Norfolk County Commissioners act as oversight for these two schools. Could you just address what Norfolk Aggie and Blue Hills Regional have done to for these children that are used to hands-on learning.
Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. Throughout my 4 years, I've learned, 5 years almost now, I've learned that there is a hidden jewel in the county. And obviously, as an educator, you know about the Aggie School. But in my mind, the hidden jewel in Norfolk County is our agricultural school. It's 103 years old. It's sited in Walpole on Main Street, Route 1A, and it's 35 acres. And what started years ago as a strictly agricultural school, very similar to UMass and Stockbridge, and it was all male, has evolved into a multifaceted school, still an agricultural school, but many, many disciplines. But we're facing the same challenges as the local school districts, not only because of COVID-19, but the antiquated school funding formula is doing a job as it is on the Quincy schools, the Braintree schools, and everyone else. We still haven't heard when and how we're going to open up this year. But the challenges relating to special education funding and health insurance costs have put us fiscally always on alert, and we try to keep the school as competitive as we can be. I was very much surprised when I took over as commissioner in December of 2015, how desirous it was to go to Norfolk Aggie. Quincy, for instance, has 22 students in Norfolk Aggie. I believe, and I'm not positive on Braintree, but I did look at Quincy today, probably 17 or 18 in Braintree. We do the very best we can from all over the county. We also have out-of-student people. We're trying to incorporate a solar energy program that we're in the final throes of putting together this program, which will teach our students solar technology and how to be involved in the 21st century economy. Plus, there is some profit and money to funds to be obtained by using the solar as best we can. We're making sure that all students can access remotely this year whatever schoolwork is finally given to them when the school year starts. I talked to the superintendent, Dr. Tammy Quinn, today. It's a day-to-day situation. She expects to hear by August 7th. But as a commissioner, all three commissioners do serve as voting full members of the Norfolk County Agricultural School. And again, it's a special favorite of mine, and it's a very, very happening large place. We have this year we had 547 students. We're going to max out at 600 next year because we took the largest freshman class in we've ever taken. And it is competitive. There is a waiting list. As soon as the list comes out, we do get mail and emails and inquiries from that are trying to get their children in there because it's very, very desirous. But we're committed to keeping it up. We're going to fund the money that the state needs to, as our co-pay, to redo some of the buildings. We're going to be working on the Kemp building, a couple of other buildings, a building that houses the cafeteria and the library to bring them up to 21st century standards. So we're totally committed to the school.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see anybody else having sent me a message or raised their hand for a question. Does anybody else who is on have a question for Commissioner Shea? Okay, Chair Gardner, you have the floor.
I think you could educate us a little bit more, Joe, in regards to what exactly the county is responsible for. You mentioned the buildings in the county. I think people would be interested to know as to who is responsible for the upkeep and the maintenance of those buildings. And what I'm referring to is our courthouses.
Right.
So if you can talk about our courthouses in the county, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Alicia. That's a good question. I did mention the courthouses,
Yep.
both the 6 district courts and the Superior Court, and I mentioned downtown Dedham. But we're responsible. We have our staff, i.e. maintenance staff, custodial staff. We own the buildings. The taxpayers in Norfolk County own those buildings. We maintain them. We have a unique arrangement with the trial court of the Commonwealth because they pay us rent. Prior to me becoming a commissioner, there were, when the purse strings were a little tighter earlier in late 90, there was issue about paying the rent. But now when the state is paying our rent, it works out pretty good. Their state employees, as far as the staff of the courts and whatever you have. Now, there's district courts in Quincy, of course. I might add it's the 3rd busiest district court in all the Commonwealth. There's a district court in Stoughton. There's a district court in Dedham. There's a district court in Rentham. And there's a district court in Brookline. So we have our custodial and maintenance staff working there. Those monies in our budget, I might add the total county budget is $32 million and change. We also have the Registry of Deeds, the Superior Court building, and a county administration building in downtown Dedham. We occupy them. We occupy the registry where we have a number of employees, probably in the vicinity of 43 or 44. And the uniqueness of county government as opposed to city government is that the funding formula to run the county government is a combination of registry fees, which are very key to us. And we're very, very proud of our registry, and then assessments to the cities and towns, and then some state aid. I'll tell you that the fee that the registry charges, or the portion that we get to keep to run the county, hasn't changed in 28 years. So obviously, we're very, very careful about our budget. In addition to that, we have a very small engineering department that helps out cities and towns on doing engineering projects. Many of the roads that we use all over the county are county owned. And when people want to take easements on them or make some changes on them, it has to come through our engineering department. They recommend to the commissioners, and then the commissioners act on it. We also have an active recreation facility, half in Quincy and half in Milton, but the business portion is in Quincy. It used to be the former Wallaston golf course. It's now called President's Golf Course, and we have many challenges there. It's a very successful place. We had a little slow start this year because of COVID. We put $88,000 in this year's budget to do some improvements there. We're going to do some pavement. We recovered the 6 tennis courts. There's going to be new signage, and we're always working to keep the golf course up as close as we can. So I was there today, and believe me, when it's a day like today, it's very, very, very busy. And the golf course generally pays for itself, and we have a break even or a little profit. As of today, I inquired because with the late start this year, we were projected to lose over 150,000. We're only 25,000 behind last year's numbers, so we're pretty excited about that. So it's a combination of registry revenue, city and town money, and some state money, but we manage it all. And the 3 commissioners, everyone has the same issue, but everyone has a little expertise, and we try to split up the duties and spend some. I did a lot of the labor negotiations because I was the newest commissioner in the last couple of years, so I had to learn the old-fashioned way, but I enjoyed it very, very much. I hope that answers your question, and we're very proud of it because.
Thank you, Joe. It absolutely does, and you have about 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, thank you. As you know, I could go on a long time, but that's quite all right. We have to hear from the other candidates. But let me ask you, let me close by saying this. In the last 5 years, as your county commissioner, I've worked to make Norfolk County government better, more efficient, more transparent, and a better value for all the residents of Quincy and throughout the county. Some aspects of county government may not be as flashy as other parts of government, but as a county commissioner, I've worked tirelessly to become more effective and make the county more effective. For the first time in Norfolk County history, we're creating policies to guide our financial decisions. We prioritize regional services and encourage the professionalism of administrative policies. We're working to restructure the county financial and budgeting process. Today, the pressures facing our students, teachers, and young people are more prevalent than ever. And as your county commissioner, I'll continue working to prioritize 21st century education, funding the agri with the resources it needed, and remain at cutting edge and lift up our families and strengthen the local economy. I've dedicated my entire life to serving people and providing trusted, proven leadership every step of the way. Public service and good government and helping people has been a life work and passion, especially during my 5 years at the county. As your neighbor, friend, and fellow Quincy resident, a lifelong Democrat, activist, and your county commissioner, I respectfully ask you to continue my support on Tuesday, September 1st. And I want to put in a good word for all Democrats on the ballot, particularly at the top of the ballot. This is a very key year. I don't have to tell you, as activists, you know, there's a lot of issues out there that need extra special attention. But stick together and stay in the Democratic column. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. We so appreciate your time and your comments tonight. And thank you for joining the Quincy Dems on its meet and greet for Norfolk County Commissioner.